Hey guys, it's Dread Captain James, and welcome to another video on No Man's Sky. This one is going to be focused on modules and how to tell them apart, where to put them, and which ones you might want to find. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. Modules are very important in No Man's Sky. They can be purchased from vendors on space stations, as well as found throughout the galaxy, most commonly in damaged machinery when you're lucky. When purchasing modules, you will need to spend nanites, which we will cover in another video talking about how to get them reliably. The better the module, the more expensive it is. Just like your ships, multi-tools, and freighters, they're arranged in classes from C to S. C class are the weakest, while S class are the strongest. Illegal or X class modules can be significantly stronger than S class, but they can also be weaker than C class. They are a gamble, but they can pay off big time. Illegal or X class modules can be found at pirate stations at a vendor. So, you found a really cool S-Class ship, and it's time to put some work into it to make it really nice. Let's talk about it. For the purposes of this video, I found a little fighter and multi-tool, and using a save editor, I made them both S-Class, opened up every slot, and gave myself all the pertinent modules to show how they can affect stats, just for clarity's sake. As you can see, this is the Sons of No Manarchy registered ship called the Testing. I also arranged the super slots, don't worry, we'll get there, in a T formation, as I found this to be a very nice arrangement and easy to show off. I don't have anything in those slots, as we're going to use them to show how much of a difference they can make, and why sometimes having amazing super slots can be the thing that you hunt for in a multi-tool or a ship. Speaking of multi-tools, here's the one we're using tonight as well. It's a pistol equipped with a neutron cannon and a regular mining setup. This is also a Sons of No Manarchy registered as Testing. Alright, back to the ship. Expanding the tech all the way out, you can see I have a lot in here already, and everything is grouped together. Let's take a look at the infraknife setup in the top corner. You'll notice I have a main weapon, the infraknife, in the middle of a B-class Q resonator. This is not a module you can buy, but one that you can learn the blueprint for and assemble yourself, and as such does not count against the number of modules you can install. Each component can have 3 any class modules installed to it, those being ones you buy or find and increase its stats. So, for the infraknife, I have the Q resonator, which adds a cannon, it's lots of damage, the infraknife itself, and 3 S-class modules adding damage, fire rate, and heat dispersion. I have the modules touching the sides and on the diagonal, but all 5 boxes are adjacent to each other, which creates that red border around the modules. If I move one away, it loses that border, indicating it loses some strength. Adjacency provides additional power to your modules, so if you can get them all touching or adjacent, you get an additional bonus. For instance, with the Q resonator not adjacent but still installed, our damage is 25k. With it adjacent, it jumps up to 27k. It's important to mess around and change where you have things arranged, as you might be able to get a lot more out of them. For the infraknife on this particular ship, arranging it into a cross actually lowers the damage to 25k, eliminating essentially that adjacency bonus. Don't be afraid to try things. Each ship is different, and I haven't fully found a completely foolproof template as to how to 100% get the same results each time I've moved things. Move them around and find the best placement for you. Now, 27k is nice. Let's move these over to the super slots and see what happens there. Moving them exactly as we had them before produces a whopping 71,000 damage, which is almost 3 times higher than it was before. If I rearrange them a little bit and put the Q resonator up above the main weapon and then have all 3 S-class mods and super slots, we jump up to 87,000 damage. This little fighter is now the scourge of the universe. There are much higher running ships out there, but for some quick work, this thing is a little banger. Now, I noticed when I was playing around with this before recording that this little ship's true strength is not DPS or damage per second, but speed and maneuverability. So I'm going to take the infra knife mods and put them back, and instead I'm going to shove the pulse drive mods in those super slots. So currently our maneuverability is 954, but with the boost from the super slots and some rearranging according to what each does, it's now an utterly insane 2600. This little ship absolutely hauls and is greased lightning. 900 wasn't shabby, and honestly, I think I'd prefer to have more firepower in a fighter, but 2600 maneuverability is just silly. I did test the hyperdrive and super slots, didn't really make a huge difference at all, only about 200 light years. This little fighter is in no way, shape, or form an exploratory ship. It's meant for war. Shields were also kind of unimpressive. Okay, let's work on our multi-tool to apply a similar idea. Multi-tools are a bit simpler as they have less to worry about in my mind. For this one, I would set it up for one of 2 things, mining or death. Having messed around with it, I know it'll do some pretty insane damage with that neutron cannon, so let's check it out. Right now, we have the main weapon set in the middle, and the arrangement is like a cross. 3 S-class modules touching all sides, and the P-field compressor, that's the piece of tech that you can unlock and install yourself, is touching the remaining open side. If you look at each module, you can see that they all have a bonus added to the main weapon, so moving this configuration over to the super slots will have to be done carefully. We want the super slots to affect the modules with bonuses and not the ones without. So right now, this weapon is doing 24,000 damage, which is very respectable. So let's super slot it. Moving the modules with bonuses into the super slots takes that 24,000 damage up to 61,000, which is absolutely mind-blowing. It's very clear what this is meant to do. Now, if we look at mining modules, I have them arranged in a similar manner, but I don't really have a way to track their stats, so it's a guess and test method with this one, as well as the scanner towards the bottom. I can see our range has been improved barely, but other than that, I have to rely on the buffs from each module and add them up manually. They do stack, so when and if you find S-class scanner mods, definitely apply them, as you will make a lot of money off each scan. And should you decide to super slot these, you could use a multi-tool to fund your adventures simply by scanning creatures and flora. Alright, I hope that helps to clear up a bit of how to place modules and get better stats out of your gear. The same applies for the freighter and the exosuit, so take what we've learned here and apply it there. Remember to move things around, test them, and don't be afraid. Unless you're in permadeath or survival, then just be careful. Let me know in the comments how you do things differently. I'd love to learn other approaches as well. And be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We're really close to partner on YouTube, and every little bit helps to get this through the algorithm. If you want to come and chat with me, I'm live Monday through Friday on twitch.tv/DreadCaptainJames, and we can talk about all things No Man's Sky. I really appreciate you taking the time to check out this video, and I hope you got something out of it. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.